lot of people go through life doing things badly. Racing's important to men who do it well. When you're racing, it's life. Anything that happens before or after, it's just waiting.
Matt Williams got a brilliant start from the third row of the grid.
He's gone, he's hit him, he's straight off at the chase.
A half-second lead. Oh, but just a return in the background.
He has it. Oh, he's round on the last lap.
There's a massive accident.
Next to the inside, what a move, what a move.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to round 3 of the Automobilista Australian Touring Car Championship. I'm Chris Riddell, and with me, as always, Michael Zalavari. G'day, Michael.
Good evening, Chris. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to round 3. We are at the Winton Motor Raceway tonight for the action for round 3, which is one of the tracks that we have mixed feelings about, isn't it? Isn't it, Kiwi?
Yes, it's a track that I actually quite like. You
It's
not
a
so
track
much.
that I hate with a burning passion.
I was being polite. It's a pretty historic track. If we bring up the track map, if I can operate this new, there we go. Bring up the track map. It's actually relatively straightforward. Oh, it looks straightforward on paper. The trick here, it's a lot of slow corners.
Yeah, I guess I'll go into a spiel because that's what I do best. One of the reasons that I personally don't like this track is because it seems that every part of the track is built to break the flow. So you can't really get into a nice rhythm here. And for some people might find that interesting and a challenge, but for me, I really quite don't like that. But yeah, a lot of slow corners, a lot of very tight sections. There's only really one flowing section, which is that bowl-shaped corner from turn 5 into the triple hairpin at 6, 7, and 8. So getting the car out of the corners here is going to be the major consideration. And what we've seen in practice shows that we might have a few new people up the head of the field.
Yes, there's been a few BOP updates to try and make the cars a bit more competitive as well. But one thing I've noticed from practice, tyres are going to be critical. Fuel's going to be on a knife edge, and the curbs here are going to kill people.
Yes, and yes. The curbs especially. We'll talk a bit more about that as we get into qualifying, but you should be able to see very clearly that the curbs are going to cause havoc for some of these drivers, especially through turns 1 and 2. We've seen people get up onto 2 wheels. We've seen people flip over, and it's all in all not a great time if you hit a curb around here.
Indeed. Now, you talked about some new people being up front of the standings for this session, for this race. It could lead to a shake up of the championship standings, which at the moment are very tight 2 races in. Scotty Nolan, 55 points, currently leading the way, from Cracker in 2nd place in the Sierra, and Brenton Hobson down in 3rd place at the moment.
Yeah, it's a little surprising. We've seen the Synergy Sim Racing machine generally at the head of the field for most of the time, but it's interesting to see how much they're getting challenged so early on in the season. We should possibly see that tip the other way today. This is a track that really does not favor the Sierras, so I think everyone in the Sierra has been complaining throughout the week about how difficult this track is to get some speed. So look for the likes of Will Devonish, and maybe even the VLs, they might start to come to the fore, but there's certainly going to be a lot more variety at the top of the field tonight, and definitely not going to be the Sierras that we've seen the last few times out.
Yeah, well, we looked at the times of practice session earlier, and Will Devonish was leading the way there from what I could tell, when I wasn't crashing off track myself.
You did that a bit.
I did it a bit. I even turned down the wrong way into pit lane.
Oh no!
I need to be shouted at and shout, "You're going the wrong way!" So it just promises to be a great race tonight. 50 minutes, usual ATCC fare. Now, Winton. We said it's a historic track. You done a bit of digging. Have you found much in the way of results from Winton Motor Raceway?
Yeah, so Winton was around for 3 of the 4 years of the ATCC Group A era. It did not host around in 1987, but what it did do was it actually opened the series in 1985. And if you had to take a guess at who the winning driver was in 1985, who would you say to open the series?
In 85, that would probably be around Tony Longhurst.
Ooh, not quite. It's actually Jim Richards at the JPS BMW. So the John Player Special BMW in 1985. So that was the same in 1986 as well. That was more towards the end of the season that they hosted that round. And then in 88, of course, we know every single race win in 88 was the Sierras. So no surprises there. So a little bit of history around this sort of circuit. But yeah, Jim Richards and John Bowe were the winners John Bowe won in 1988.
I think Scafie would have had a win there in 92.
Well, I don't know that.
I understand that because I've now found the Wikipedia page myself.
Well done. I'm so proud of you. Yeah, so it's got a little bit of history. The track itself has hosted racing since the 60s or something along those lines.
Yeah, and all those older wins were actually on the old version of the track too.
Yeah, so we couldn't get the older version of the track, which doesn't have what is now the main straight and turns, I think it's 13 and 14, basically the top end of the circuit. It would have basically been a cutout from the final hairpin at turn 8 straight through to what is now the main straight, would be the old version of the track, which would have been nice for the Sierras to not have to worry about a few extra corners in the mix, but unfortunately we weren't able to get that for this evening, so we're using the modern track.
Yes. So we're going through the list now. We've got 26 drivers, I think, lined up for this evening.
5, it looks 25, like.
Yep. In the end. So who are the names you think might do well tonight?
Well, obviously the first one I'll say is Will Devonish. He's got that Merc absolutely cleaned up at the moment, and he was easily the fastest person in practice. The Synergy Sim Racing guys are also 3 of them are in the top 5, so that's pretty impressive. And then look more towards the BMWs to have a go. I think Steve Bolger is quite high in the standings at the moment. So more the smaller, nimbler cars are going to be the ones to watch tonight, as opposed to the Sierras and the Skylines we've been used to seeing destroying everyone else in the past few rounds.
Now, we've got track action. Has qualifying started? No.
It is currently warm-up, so
okay.
I think they had 1 or 2 cars drop out of the server. Of course, with this many people, it is actually 26 people in the server tonight. With this many people, server load does begin to become a little bit of an issue, so we might see 1 or 2 restarts just to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to get in and compete. But yeah, 26 people around a track like this is... I'm a little scared, to be honest. We saw what happened at Simmons Plains.
Yes, we did. Now, I'm just going to try and do this. So, hopefully this brings a bit of fun tonight, because we know quite a few people in the server live in Melbourne, and we're currently unable to go anywhere. So hopefully this warms a few people up and makes them a bit happier about things tonight. Hope it makes me happier, because I'm getting a bit over lockdown.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a quite difficult time for you guys over in Melbourne.
Yep.
So
this is the only racing we'll see at Winton all season now. V8s won't be coming down here anytime soon.
Yeah, unfortunate how that's worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am sorry to hear that. I can appreciate how tough things must be in Victoria at the moment. So fingers crossed to you and a bunch of the people racing tonight, and all of the people in Victoria as well. It must be quite difficult, especially in the middle of winter.
Yes, indeed. I mean, it's not so bad being locked up in your warm home, at least. It could be worse.
Yeah, that's true.
So, we've got about 9 minutes left in this practice session. I think Brenton Hobson's the only one on track at the moment. Might as well keep an eye on him. Do you want... Oh, no, he's just stopping. Thanks, Brenton.
Well, I have the great issue that none of the cars are coming up on my screen because I've actually crashed out of the server. So, as if on cue, here we go, server dramas, and we're not even started.
So we've got while you sort this server out, I've got Scotty Murrell on screen. Nice to have him back. He just left.
He's oh well, you might be crashing out as well. He's unfortunately had to miss the last few weeks due to real life commitments. So it is very, very nice to have him back in the game. Was very looking forward to racing tonight, despite the stream of profanities at every single corner in this racetrack.
That's what he does.
It's been great.
So yeah, if you've got anything you want to say to us in chat, feel free. Nathan Higginson's jumped in, saying he's early, burning the midnight oil. Good to see you here, Nathan. I'm sure we'll see Hans Brunswick's fan club come in a bit later.
The only Hans.
The only Hans, yes. Okay, looks like we've just resetting the server. Should be ready to go anytime soon. A few new people to the server tonight. I think I've seen... who was that? Where has he gone? Where are we? Dane Licciardo?
Licciardo, yeah. Yep. He's brand new. His first AMS Oz or TCAC race tonight for Dane. So best of luck for him. Best of luck for Dano. We've also got Matt Schwartz returning, but we knew that. There's a few people who, Mike Coulston as well. So it's good to see Mike back in the mix.
As my game just crashes.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Kiwi.
Back I come.
That is going to be a bit of a theme tonight, unfortunately. There is just so many people in the server. And as well, part of a consequence of that is that our live timing service, live races, is actually completely conked out as well. So we have no additional live timing, which is unfortunate. So we're going to be running a little off the seat of our pants tonight.
That's what we do best.
Yeah, exactly. So the cars are lining up to exit the pits for the start of qualifying. We actually have Scott Nolan, Scott Murrell, and Scotty G are going to be the first three out on track.
The Scott train.
Yeah, so the Scott Cubes heading out first.
What a band name, Scotty and the Cubes.
Scotty and the Cubes. Oh God. And it looks like there's a few people bumping and barging on their way out of pit lane as the light goes green, and we will start the qualifying session.
Okay, hopefully I can get back in to catch some of it. It's be right if we miss a warm-up lap. That's not so bad. Fingers crossed here. We're going to try a new few things tonight. Try and bring you a bit closer to the action. Keep it as much as we can. What sort of lap times are you expecting? I think I saw Hobbo do a 126 in practice.
Yeah, so 126 for pole position, 126, 125 even. I think maybe Will Devonish might broach a 125. For the spread throughout the field though is going to be quite significant. You might see lap times even in the 130s or 131s be some people's fastest lap. So it's going to be quite a fair spread. And same issue we had at Simmons Plains. Traffic is going to be a problem for these guys to try and get their fast lap in, because at the moment already you can see quite a number of cars being balked and in problems in traffic. So we'll see how that pans out. I'm just trying to find a camera angle where I can see everything.
That would be good. I'm just trying to get back into the server. Ooh, hang on. We may have access. It's taking its sweet time. Please work, game.
The joys of Automobilista, am I right?
Yep. I've now got the blue spinning circle of death. So, here we go. We're in. Don't jinx it now, Christopher.
Beautiful. So the first guys are just coming across the line to start their first flying lap. So you timed it perfectly.
I'm on board with Scotty Merrill doing his first flying lap through turn 1 and turn 2 now. Ooh, a little bit squirrely on the exit of 2, but nicely over the old pit exit. Over the hold start finish line through 3. Whoa, Scotty! And he's missed his apex by about 7 feet there at turn 4.
Yeah, don't be surprised to see a lot of that tonight. These cars are pretty soft as Murrell comes through turn 5, floats it on the right-hand side tyres, and he's gone over the curb. And a big bump on the curb there as he brakes now for turns 8 and turn 8. Yeah, as you can see, very, very difficult around this track in these cars. Yep.
I finally got the vision up on AMS on stream now, so people can actually listen to what we're talking about. So they've missed Scotty Merrill binning it. With 2 commentators, coasters, and 2 weeks are onboard drivers. Well done, us.
Well done.
Coming through.
There seems to be a lot of action on track at the moment. People still trying to sort their way out around each other, so difficult times at the moment. But remember, we have 15 minutes, so hopefully everyone is able to get a lap in.
Yeah. So Scotty just coming up to the final couple of corners now. And that pit exit there is actually going to catch a few people out, I suspect. There's a dart off. Oh, and is that Scotty G ahead of Scotty? Just
yes,
yep.
that was Scotty G.
Yep. And Scott Murrow sends an unrepresentative time of 1:30. He'll be much faster than that as the qualifying session progresses.
Yeah, Scott Nolan was the first one to set a lap time. He set a 1:27.45. Hobbo's just about to cross the line. He goes 1:27.49, but it's Rasmussen who's the fastest out of the Synergy Sim Racing dynasty with a 1:27.2.
Nice. Further down, Hans is 2 seconds off the place currently. As we just see, massive lot of tyre smoke. Who was that from? Not sure who.
Not sure.
Not sure who. Just looking at Brock Harvey coming through turn 3 now. That, nicely done. Bit of curb, but not too much. That curb is where I've seen a Volvo of Adam Kerrison's flip.
Yes, that is exactly what can happen here. We've got a few more times banging in. A lot of the mid-pack have come through. Rasmussen's up by half a second to the first sector as well. So if you can get eyes on Rasmussen, this might be a good lap to track.
Yep, he just got around his teammate who sidestepped for him. Coming through around the old... Well, there used to be a tree, I'm sure of it. Coming up to the new part of the track. Oh, that was a lot of curb. But it's half a second up through to the second timing split.
It's doing very well here. It looks very smooth from my perspective up on high. He's got 2 more corners to negotiate. Brakes for the penultimate corner, gets it nice, uses all the runoff, almost uses the pit lane there as he comes through to the final corner. A lot of curb there from Rasmussen, but he gets it nailed onto the start-finish straight, and he'll set the first... Oh, no, he's actually been eclipsed by Will Devonish in that time. Devonish, look at that lap time. A
wow.
1:25.6 from Devonish.
Whew, straight out of the bat. Straight out of the bat. Way to mix your metaphors. Straight off the bat. Pretty much going to set a pole with that, you'd imagine.
And he's going again. He's 2/10 up to the first sector on his own time. Devonish is flying away at the moment.
He's devastating.
We'll put that on his bumper bar.
So as he looks now, I'm getting confused. This is turn 7 and 8 now. Is that your only section of the track you like?
Yeah, the sweep through turn 5 and then the curb at turn 6. Yeah, that's the only section of the track I actually like. We can go into more reasons why later.
Yep, so Devo's 2/10 up through the second sector now as he makes his way onto the new section. The HP BMW gets nicely out of the way, gives Devo plenty of run to the second last corner. Well over the exit of the second to last, sideways through the last corner, but he's going to hold a very good lap time here. This should go faster. And it does with a 1:25.499.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable pace from Devonish. Damon Rasmussen's just about to come across the line to set another lap, and he's a second and a third away at the moment.
He boarded that lap.
No improvement.
Scotty Nolan's out in third at the moment. He's currently on a fly. We'll see what he's got coming through the first timing point. 3/10 down.
But 2/10 up on his personal best. There's a yellow flag in that sector, and Scotty Nolan loses it. He got the rear end all locked up, and he's stuck behind Rhodey and has given that one away. Still a yellow flag in that section. I wonder why that is. I'm going to go do a little bit of investigating.
I think it might have been for the Nissan, the 355 Nissan.
Dane Liccardo is the 335.
Yeah, so that he just had an off, which can happen. Looking at...
Just an update while we have a little bit of a chance. And a stewards ruling from last week, the incident between Lime Mitch and Scott Nolan at the hairpin has resulted in a qualifying ban for Lime Mitch. So you won't see the Lime Mitch Racing green Skyline out for qualifying today.
Okay. And I think there was also a ban for Wayne Spencer as well.
It may be the case because... Wayne hasn't come out of the pits. I'll have a quick look. Interesting to note that we have Matt Swass in the Discord chat saying that he can't compete against an unknown vehicle. So that's a bit of a confusion point there. So hopefully that gets rectified.
Yeah, that's a strange one. Maybe Devonish is driving the unknown vehicle. No, that's weird.
Maybe Devonish is just AI. That's why he's so quick.
Well, that's what Nathan Higginson's saying. All right, the Hans fan club is here. Let's go down to find Hans. He's in third at the moment.
He's just started a lap, so let's go on board with
No,
him.
he hasn't. He just rolled.
Right, okay, maybe not.
Oh, boy.
Okay, maybe we won't go on board with Hans.
Well, then. That was a...
That was the time.
That was a time.
Okay, so let's have a quick look through the field. We've got 6 minutes left in qualifying. Devonish, as we've said, is on pole. He's still trying to outdo himself. Rasmussen is currently sitting in second, over a second behind Devonish. And then it is Hans Brunswick in third. Scott Nolan, no, he's just been relegated to fourth because Hobson has jumped up into second place with a 26.8. So still, again, very far away from Will Devonish. Nolan is in fifth. Bolger in the BMW is in sixth. Cracker in the Sierra is doing very well to hold down seventh place at the moment. Then it is Ozrob, Brock Harvey, and Luke Joyner is your top 10. Matty Schwass is in, well, he was in 11th, but John McDonald's now pipped him to that position. Then it's Termo Scott Murrell, who's just going sideways into the pit lane. Kerrison in 15th, Scotty G, Cam Rutledge, unfortunately not getting a handle on the Sierra at this circuit. Matt Cecil in 18th, Brian Walsh 19th, Rhodey in 20th, Mike Coulston in the Texaco BMW, which looks amazing, in 21st, Manuel Santino 22nd, Dane Liccardo 23rd, Glenn Miles 24th, and that is your 24 plus 2 car field. So far, we have 5 minutes left in qualifying.
Whew.
That's a lot of cars.
That's a lot of cars. I've just got eyes on Brenton Hobson while you're doing that, had him on screen. He's got a personal best going to the second sector, but he's still a second down on Will Devonish. Devon's just another postcode at the moment.
Yeah, and it's unbelievable, I think, to see how much further ahead Devonish is over the guys that you would traditionally see as strong competitors. Hobbo coming across the line now. He's improved it by a little bit. by
14 one-thousandths of a second, yes.
Yep, that's the one.
You're going to say?
A more significant improvement coming for Steve Bolger. He's up by half a second, just going through the penultimate corner now. A little wide through that corner, but gets it squared off nicely, uses a little bit of curb for the final corner. He's going to cross the line and improve to a second place.
Nice. He's now within a second of Will Devonish. That's not a bad lap time at all from the Bulge. In the Gravel Rash racing machine. Anyone else on a flying time? I was going to say Rasmus, but he's on a slowdown. Got Hans now on screen, coming under the. Well, no, he mustn't be running a lap time at the moment. Cracker.
Cracker is on a lap. I haven't caught his last sector, but we'll catch him as he comes around.
Yep, just coming through the final corner.
Using the pit lane entry. A lot of the drivers in practice saying that they were trying to use as much curb and as much of the pit lane entry as they can get away with to try and turn the final corner into a bit of a parabolica. Cracker doesn't improve.
Yeah, I'll just stay with him for a bit because I want to see how he goes to the first timing sector. He's nice through turn 4. And again through 5, pretty nice. Now just see what his first timing sector is. Where is the first timing point anyway?
We should have mentioned that. The first timing sector I think is just on the exit of turn 5.
There it is.
Yep. So the sweeper.
He's only he's slightly down in his personal best,
but not by much.
Not by much.
We go through the trio of hairpins. Again, a lot of curb in the mid corner there. And then a very wide entry line for this final one at turn 9 because you want to elongate the straight as much as you can, especially in one of the Sierras. As we'll hit the second timing marker on the exit of this corner, on the entry of this corner, and he's up, just up, 68 thousandths of a second up.
We'll keep an eye on him, but I don't think this lap's going to improve his position. Although he is only 1/10 ahead of Ozrob, so I might just give him a bit more breathing room to stay in the top 10 as he comes through the final corner. Doesn't use much curb as the other guys on exit. And he comes across the line to do a 1:27.382. So he improved.
but not in position, unfortunately for him. What we have had though is a bit of movement up top. So Brock Harvey's actually jumped into 5th place at the moment with a 26.8. So he's on the tail of, well, he's mixing with the Synergy Sim Racing guys in that MHRT Commodore.
Yeah, we'll stick on Brock for a little bit as he comes through the back section of the track on his way down to the turn 10 turn-off. He's about to hit the second timing sector. He's up on his personal best, but again, no improvement in terms of position. I don't think will come from this.
It could be close. The gap between him and the next car ahead of him on track is only about, well, it's only 2/10. So a good final sector would be very welcome for Brock Harvey, but he's got a little bit of traffic heading through the final corners. Just steps over the curb there.
Coming up to set a time of a 1:26.963, puts him up to 5th place. And on
so
that,
no improvement.
No improvement. So on that note, we'll lock off the camera there, and we'll watch the last minute from this corner as they come over the start-finish line. And we'll see if anybody does improve their time from this point on. So we see a yellow flag in the first sector. This is where I wish we had live timing so we could actually see who was
coming. Yeah. Osrob's just improved. He's improved by 4/10. There's a lot of congestion through turn 5 at the moment, so don't expect any of that group to improve their lap time. Hobbo's just going to be the next car to come across the line. I haven't got an idea of his sector time, but he's very slow on this lap, so he's setting up for another run. Scotty Nolan is 2/10 up on his best time as everyone, the C's part ahead of him. So keep an eye out for Scott Nolan. He will be coming around shortly.
Okay, we just see Will Devonish coming across the line. No improvement that lap, but he doesn't need it at the moment. I think that's Hans now.
Cam Rutledge will be next after Hans. He doesn't improve.
The Bulge. Okay, time's up now, so the Bulge will be the last car across the line.
There's still a lot of traffic coming through that section of corners. I think actually Bulge has given it away. He's gone back to the pit lane.
Turbo's jumped up to 11th place with that last lap.
Nolan coming across the line now. There he comes, and he looks like he's given it away. He's pulled out of it at the last moment.
We saw a spinner coming onto the final corner as well, and that's going to ruin whoever that was. I think that might have been the Dale Smith Floors entry.
No, Luke Joyner is coming through the final 2 corners. So he's 2/10 up on his lap time. So keep an eye out for him.
Okay.
You can just see him coming into shot now.
There he is. Luke Joyner currently in 9th place. Let's see what he can do with this lap. He goes up to 8th.
Jumps up to 8th. Yep. Well done. And I think
that might be it.
No, Matt Swass, he will be the last car on track. He's 8/10 up.
Where is he at?
From his personal best. He's just coming through the penultimate corner now, but he's gone wide and he's thrown it away.
I can't get to him quick enough to see what happened there.
He's coming through the final corner.
He's not on my screen. Do you mean Matt Swass or Matt Cecil? There he is. There he is. What's he done? I'm going to bring up his replay of that one to see what he actually did because I was incompetent with my controls.
He just sprayed it a little wide, unfortunately.
Yeah, just at the second of the last corner. So, that was a somewhat anticlimactic qualifying session.
Yeah, well, when your pole sitter is a second up and it's not wet weather, then I think it's a bit a bit much. Yeah, Devonish is just unbelievable at this racetrack, it seems. So he's looking untouchable, unfortunately.
Looks that way at this stage. 1:25.061 is what his final time was. That's an impressive time.
Yeah, it's quite unbelievable, to be honest. Just getting a little bit of a message from Brock Harvey. He's just sent me a message saying that we might even be looking at 2 stops tonight.
Ooh.
because of tire wear. That's how bad the tire wear is around here. And I know you did a few laps. I did a few laps as well. And what I noticed is that the tires go off very, very quickly. So we could see legitimate concerns about tire life and tire quality throughout the race.
We could actually ask a driver who's in the chat with us. Scott Nolan, do you have us? I think he does.
You got me?
Yep, we got you.
No eyes.
How was
Doing
that?
very well, Scott. How are you?
a bit frustrated. I was up on my last lap there and ran out of fuel. So
Oh no!
I saw that you were slowing down towards the line. I can't believe that's what happened.
yeah, coming out last corner, I coughed. So yeah, I was probably would have slotted into second there. But anyway, that's all right. We got nothing for that Merc. It's my tip was before any of the changes was going to be that Beamer and Merc, and the Beamer is just as quick as the Merc. They're pretty much identical on pace. It's just obviously Devonish knows how to use that around here, and you know, good on him. But yeah, I don't know. It's sort of a second's a bit crazy, but we knew they were going to be quick. Yeah, we knew they were going to be quick. I just didn't think they'd be a second quick, but that's all right.
Well, we'll focus back onto you guys. It looks like the three of you in the Synergy Sim Racing stable, well, I mean, 3 out of the 4, yourself, Hobbo, and Rasmussen, are really comfortable around this sort of circuit. You're finding it a bit easier in the HSV around here compared to the other tracks that we visited so far?
Nah, this is the worst one out of the 3.
Is it because of Winton?
Nah, like, you know, look, it's not my favourite either. Everyone hates this track, but Brenton. So this is probably the most comfortable he's felt in the car around here. But yeah, I prefer, like, the other 2 rounds. I was a lot more comfortable in regards to driving the car. The change in the rear tyre has disadvantaged us, definitely, but that's cool, as long as it's the same for everybody. So yeah, and obviously it's increased the tyre wear, so yeah, I think you guys are on the money with the 2 stoppers. So it can be done on a 1, but you the safe option is definitely a 2, so from our perspective.
So are you definitely looking at 2 stops then? What sort of strategy are you thinking tonight? Stop early and get out of the mess, or try and grab a lead?
I don't think we'll be grabbing a lead. I think the Vegemite car or whatever rubbish scheme's on it is going to pull away. It's going to... it's not a very good paint job, let's be real. It's going to pull away, and unless he runs off the track or, you know, a lap car takes him out or something like that, then he should have this one, you know, run and 1. The second advantage is pretty hefty. And I think they got the best tyre wear out of the field as well. So yeah, so that'll be interesting. So some of the Beamers that are down the field should have a good run, and I definitely think they can definitely do a one-stop strategy with their tyre wear. But yeah, for us it'll be wait and see. If we're at the front, we'll see whatever the rest of the field does, and that'll really dictate on championship, you know, just where we are in the championship and that. If we're at the back and we feel like we need to be a bit more bold to sort of climb some positions, then who knows? So it'll just wait and see how the race goes for us, really, to determine what I do anyway.
You and Hobbo are going to be scheming together throughout the race?
Always. You know, that's what teammates are for. You always got to work together. Even with Damien, it's good to see he's a bit further up the field. I think his average start and finish is 9th at the moment. So good to see him further up the field this round, and a lot more comfortable as well. So yeah, with the 3 of us, hopefully, you know, we can either lock out the rest of the podium, and 1, 2, 3 will be awesome. But as long as I'm just aiming for a top 5. If we can get top 5 and walk away from Winton without a drop, that being our drop round, then I'm happy, because I don't know if you remember in those Porsches, but yeah, 2 races here in the Porsches, I got stuck. I spun in the lead, and I got stuck on the curb in both races and couldn't get off the curb. So
yes, I remember that very vividly.
So the last time I was here, I don't know if we ran it. Did we run the Lancers here last year?
Not last season.
No. Yeah. So the last time I was here, I had 2 DNFs. So yeah, we've got to improve on that, and we had good speed. So, you know, I've got to improve on that and get the results and maintain the progression towards the end of the championship.
Well, at least the good thing is that the clearance on the HSV is a bit better than that Porsche, so you're unlikely to get stuck on the curb this time around. Just make sure you don't flip it. We've seen a few people do that so far.
Yeah, you can do it, but our car, I think, is probably the only advantage we've got is that it's a bit better on the curbs than a lot of them. So it looks like the Nissan's not too good on the curbs, but I can sort of hit those curbs at 1 and 2, and sort of that first right-hander into around the tree, I can sort of hit those curbs, and it sort of aids the turning of the car a bit. So yeah, it's not too bad. But yeah, you don't want to sort of fly over the top of them, especially at 1. You will end up on your roof, and it'll be day done.
Day done, yeah. Oh, thank you, Scott. We'll let you get ready for the race. We've just got a minute and a half left of warm-up, so best of luck.
See you guys.
Wow, headline from
nice
there.
New graphic, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Headline from that. Will Devonish, your livery is terrible.
Yeah, well, I think besides that,
Yeah.
I always do love a bit of biff and barge between races in here. But I think another thing there, it was the confirmation of 2 stops for most of the field. That's a very drastic change to what we've been seeing from the other races where it's all been an easy 1 stop. Maybe not an incredibly easy 1 stop, but an easy 1 stop to get to the end. So yeah, interesting to see how the strategies will play out. I've got another message from Brock, who's just in my pocket at the moment, and he says that the BMW has exactly the same physics at the Mercedes. So the lap from Devonish is
Mad.
huge. Yeah.
So I think the other thing that you've got to watch out for is safety car. I reckon there's a good chance of a safety car here.
Yeah, well,
With the tight track.
Yeah, especially if someone goes off maybe at turn 1 and hits a curb and maybe comes back across the track, because there's a lot of places here where you can come back across the track if you make a mistake.
Let's say a safety car happens with, say, 25 minutes to go.
Yeah, or even less than. If safety car happens with 10 minutes to go, we could see a big flurry of pit stops in a last few laps shootout. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how this all pans out later on.
Yeah, indeed it will. So the warm-up's just finishing up now, so we should be ready to go on the grid. I'm excited for this.
You would be, it's Winton.
Yes, of course I am. Hello to everybody watching the stream. Good old conversation in chat going about where they reckon Dane will finish.
And someone, Mr. Diamond, saying this is what our parents watched. Yeah,
basically, yeah.
It's like the days of Richards and Bow out here.
Yes. Oh, don't crash on me now, Automobilista, please. Phew.
I think that was just the server setting up. So we'll see.
It's the last thing I want. All right, we're just waiting for the cars. 26 cars.
Yeah, what a field. The uptick and the maintenance of numbers in not just TCAC, but Automobilista Australia as well has been phenomenal throughout the series and throughout the year. So it's just incredible to see these numbers week in, week out. And let's hope that it builds us up to a great crescendo tonight.
Yep, I'm going to transition to the grid now because we've got Will Devonish on 2 wheels from pole position.
Perfect. that'll hopefully settle out once the game all codes itself in. So remember, you've got a minute from the start of the session to actually get yourself onto the grid. So people will be working out strategy, will be working out fuel numbers, maybe some last minute setup changes. And it looks like everyone's almost made it. There's still Kerrison, and it looks like Ozrob in the pit lane at the moment, and Dano. We've still got about 10 seconds left. Diamond will be starting in about a minute and a half's time.
We're starting as soon as the server plays ball. There
we go. So here we go, a warm-up lap. 26 cars around Winton Motor Raceway, and it is Will Devonish on pole, a scintillating lap time, beating the field by a second to put him there. Steve Bolger in the Gravel Rash Racing number 87 BMW in second place, and then it is 3 Synergy Sim Racing HSPs. Damien Rasmussen leads Scott Nolan, leads Brendan Hobson, leads Scott Nolan for the rest of the top 5. Brock Harvey out of 6th, the MHRT number 29. And then it is the first of the Volvos, Hans Brunswick in the 111 car. Luke Joyner is out of 8th place. We saw him across the line right at the end of the session to jump into 8th. And he ousted Ozrob in the Nissan Ringer car, the red boot, we're going to call that one. Cracker leads the Sierras. Remember, that was last race's winner in the Caliber Sierra 64 car. And then it is Turmo in the 51. I'm trying to remember. It's the VK Turbo, I think, is what that car is meant to look like, or the Yamaha. John McDonald out of 12th place in the HP BMW. And then there's Mike Coulston in the Texaco BMW run by Antara Motorsport. So good to have Mike in the field. He's just ahead of a pair of Volvos, Adam Kerrison in 14th, and then Matt Swass in 15th. Cam Rutledge is the next of the Sierras out of 16th position. Then it's Scotty G in the HSV number 71 machine. Scott Murrell in the Dale Smith's flooring number 325 Nissan. Matt Cecil in the AP Motorsports Norton Hornet. Brian Walsh is in 20th place. Then it is Rhodey out of 21st. Dane Liccardo, his first race with us, out of 22nd. Manuel Santino in the Wildcat Sierra out of 23rd. Glenn Miles, the Turbo Engineering Skyline, 24th. And then the two who didn't qualify, Wayne Orza Spencer out of 25th. And Lime Mitch brings up the tail of the field in 26th place. 26 cars around this motor speedway. 50 minutes coming up. Oh boy, this is going to be an absolute bull ring.
Oh god, yes. And expect those faster guys at the back, people like Lime Mitch, to pit early and try and make use of the clean air as much as they can. If it's a two-stop strategy, it's probably the best way of getting to the front. But
12:24, Luke.
What was that? Sorry, bro?
I believe he's in the wrong chat again.
Classic, bro. Get out of the broad. We're going to kick you out of the broadcast booth one of these days.
Just waiting on the cars to make their way now. I'm going to go down to the start camera if I can. There we go. It's a beautiful, beautiful sight, isn't it?
A field this big in any sort of series is a beautiful sight. Yeah. Let's hope they put on a show for us tonight.
Just waiting on the last few cars to grid up. See Lime Mitch right at the back, just making his way in. And there's also... you can't see the cars this far back, but here we go. Looks like everyone's in place now. We're just waiting for the final blips. And here we go. And we're away here at Winton. Terrible start by the Mercedes. And Steve Bolger's going to... the secondary start for the Mercedes was really good as they make their way down to turn one. Flood, you got it from there.
And it's going to be Devonish who swoops around, and Bolger has to stay his way from the rest of the Synergy Sim Racing field as half the field in the background goes through the turn 2 cutoff. And luckily only one or two are in the wall, but it is Will Devonish who takes the lead, and Bolger's been hung out to dry.
Oh, he has. He's down to 4th place already as they come through the infield section. It looks like a bit of a gap's forming out back behind the turbo machine. So out front, Will Devonish from Rasmussen, from Hobson, Bolger, Nolan, Harvey, Brunswick, and Joyner make up your top 8 as we see him move from Nolan down the inside of Steve Bolger for 3rd place.
A bit of buff and barge there, but that's exactly what we want to see in TCAC. Bolger has the inside line for the next hairpin, though. If he can maybe move a little bit over on the HSV, no, Nolan shuts the door and gets it done very nicely. And the top 6 have already built a little bit of a gap as Hans has held up the rest of the field, it looks like. But it's an absolute gaggle out the back there. Liam Mitch, just as an aside, is already up to 18th. And we've lost, I think it's Luke Joyner from the race already.
Yeah, Luke Joyner and Dan Liccardo and Scotty G. 3 cars already out of the race.
Wow, I wonder what's happened there.
I've just gone up to the front. Damien Rasmussen's trying to move down the final corner, but can't get it done this time around. So lap 1 complete. Will Devonish, half a second ahead of Rasmussen, then Hobson, Nolan, Bolger, Harvey. Hans Brunswick up to 7th.
Yeah, so just had a bit of a look at what happened to Luke. He seemed to cut out, so that's probably a connection issue for Luke. Unfortunate. Hope he's feeling all right. He was feeling a bit ill yesterday for GT3, and it looks like Bolger might have a little bit of a run on Harvey for turn 3 for 6th and 7th place. Not quite there this time around, and Harvey holds the position. So after an initial flurry, I think Devonish has actually got himself a little bit of a gap now over the Synergy Sim Racing train.
He has.
And then it's this battle for 5th. And then the rest, basically. And there's some buff and barge at the edge of the top 10. I think that was John McDonald.
Oh,
and
sorry to interrupt. Bolger's just got the move done to get into 5th place. Great inside move down on Brocky.
Well done, Bulge. So they'll continue their little battle. Just quickly, Wayne Spencer, an amazing start from him. He's up 14 places to 11th from 25th on the grid.
Wow. Whoa.
I would love to see the replay of his first 2 laps as McDonald hits the curb on the inside and cedes that position to Mike Coulston in the background there.
And we've got John McDonald and Cam Rutledge side by side, 14th place coming into turn 10. And Cam Rutledge backs out. Oh, John McDonald's gone round! And that was just an...
And Walsh has almost gone into it. He's almost done the same thing.
Wow.
Oh, no, what a shame.
That's a shame for John McDonald, just on the power way too soon, and loops he goes.
Unfortunately for Mr. Diamond in the chat, yes, Dane has unfortunately DNF'd as well. I'm not sure what the issue is there. So we've lost, as we mentioned, Luke Joyner, Dane Liccardo, and Scotty G from the race already. So casualties on lap 1 of a 50-lap race, 50-minute race, not ideal, unfortunately. I think there was someone off in the background. That was Brian Walsh who just ran a little wide at turn 2.
Whoa, we have Mitch nearly rolled it on the curbs at 3.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And somehow he hasn't lost position because Cam Rutledge ran wide and himself on the grass, and there's on the inside of the Caliber Sierra coming through turn 6.
They're going to try and go side by side into the first of the hairpins, and it looks like actually Cracker's bailed out of that and has let the rest of the field go through.
Smart.
I'll say.
Whew. Frantic.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. So, a cracking battle for 7th at the moment. I think Ozrob's just made the move on Hans through turn 9, and now they're coming towards the left-hander at turn 10. Side by side, Hans and Scotty Murrell, who's also up 9 places from the start. Very well done from Murrell there. And Murrell's actually got a little bit of a run. Now, we won't know how this all plays out in terms of pit strategy and everything, as Murrell goes very, very deep at the first corner and is he going to be able to hold on to that position? He does. He does a very good job of holding on to that position. And in fact, Hans is looking like a bit of a brick at the moment, sinking down the field.
Here comes Termo, yeah. Dano's just posted in chat for his reason of DNF. Oh, I'll get to that in a second as we see. Whew. Hans down to 11th. Wazza's just muscled his way through. He's already on the top 10.
What an amazing start from Wazza. That's crazy performance from the first 4 laps.
Yep. So Dano's just posted in chat. He blew his engine trying to avoid the lap 1 wreck.
Oh no, that's such a shame.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Thanks for coming by anyway. No doubt we'll see you next race. As we see Scotty Murrell all over the curb, and he's now rolled it. No, he hasn't. He saved it.
Oh, just gone around. He got a half spin in the middle of the corner there and just looped it around the middle there, got over the curb, and yeah, unfortunate for Bulge, he's actually dropped down to 6th position. So,
all right, just bringing that up on replay now. Oh, yep, just too early on the gas. It was lucky Brock Harvey didn't drill him either.
It was very lucky. He's dropped now 3 seconds behind Brock Harvey, who he previously had the position over. As there's some buff and budge. Wayne Spencer and Turmo around from 10th and 11th. They're dropping through the order now. There was turn 10. They went side by side, and they both just tapped each other out. Oh, no.
What on earth has happened there? Let's bring that up on replay. So side by side, turn 10 should be one of the easier places to make the overtaking move stick, but Turmo's just synchronized. I don't think there's much contact, just synchronized spinning.
I don't think there was much, but I think there was enough, unfortunately. I think Wayne tried to maybe close the door while Turmo was a bit too far up. So unfortunate for both of them, especially for Wayne, who's got to do all that work again. He was, let's not forget, in the top 10 after the first 4 laps. He's now dropped down to 17th, so a little bit more work for Wayne to do. Meanwhile, out front, Devonish has got a 6-second lead already. Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. It's incredible how far ahead Devonish has gone. That it is the 3 Synergy Sim racing cars, the 3 remaining Synergy Sim racing cars in second, third, and fourth, ahead of Brock Harvey in that MHRT Commodore. And there he is. That is the domination at the moment. Luke John has just dropped out. I think we had someone run very wide in the middle section of the lap, and it was Lime Mitch. He was lucky not to lose a position there, but he holds on to, I think that's 10th place now, so up 16, remember, from the rear of the grid. I wonder if Luke Joyner... Oh, to see, I've just caught Hans Brunswick smashing into the wall at the exit of 10. Oh, no. He just gassed it up way too early. He has to have had damaged his car from that. We'll see what he does here. Does he go into the pit lane? It's probably not a bad idea to go into the pits
now if you want to make a two-stop work, and not this time around.
He was behind Lime Mitch before that incident happened, so he must have had a mistake earlier on the lap because he was even behind his teammate. Remember that he qualified much further up the field, so something might have happened to Hans prior to that.
Possibly. That was unfortunate. Now, I think it's starting to calm down a bit. Where are the battles on track? Looks like Brock Harvey and Brendan Hobson for 4th and 5th. Looks like it could be on.
Oh, actually, we've had Scott Nolan go wide around that corner, and he's rejoined just next to that battle. In fact, he's rejoined right next to Brock Harvey, which is not ideal for Brock, but he does make it work in the end. So I wonder what happened to Scott there. I think he just got a little wide. Oh, a big wiggle in the middle of the apex of turn 8. That was enough, and he's actually turned Brock around. He's turned Brock around. There was a little tap on the exit there, and he's sent Brock around. And yeah, Nolan waits for him. Lucky that Brock didn't hit the wall there. Woo!
Oh boy. Scotty Nolan just getting into a bit of mischief early on. Brock Harvey misses the apex.
While that's all happening, I'm not sure if you can see the graphic. Will Devonish, a 125 flat. 125 flat. What? He's going to be lapping people before 10 laps are out.
That's insanity.
Oh, we've got a yellow flag at turn 10. Lime Mitch, in the final sector. Oh, Lime Mitch has got well over the curb trying to make a pass on Matt Swass and has dropped a few positions there. He's actually ahead of Cam Rutledge now in 11th. So still a good return for Lime Mitch at the moment. But this battle pack between Brock Harvey, Scott Nolan and Steve Bolger now for 4th place is looking very, very tasty.
Yep, just got eyes on that. Can you call for a sec, Flood?
Sure, I will call for a sec. Brock at the moment looks to be the most comfortable. Of course, he's out in the lead of this group as they come through turn 8. Very similar lines from the pair of them at the minute. But Nolan is looking racy. He's going to try and atone for that little mistake that he had the previous lap, and maybe perhaps have a bit of a look. But the BMW behind him is also looking very racy as they come through turn 10. They got a significant gap behind. It's Osrob and Scott Morrow, the next 2 cars behind them, so they don't really have to worry about that as Will Devonish sets another 25-1. Oh no, Brock's gone around. Brock's gone wide of the second to last corner, and they're going to go 3 wide into the final corner, and it's Bolger who gets both of them in one corner. Can he get the power down the straight? No, the HSV is just a little too powerful, so the HSV powers away, and Bolger goes into 5th. Brock loses 2 with 1 mistake there, but 3 wide in the final corner. That's ballsy stuff from the group of them there.
I missed some crap, did I?
Yeah, well, you luckily you had it on stream, so it all worked out very nicely.
Yeah, I had to go and make sure that no one hit our brand new car.
Beautiful.
So I'm back now. So 10 minutes into the race, 11 seconds is the lead. We'll forget about that.
And it's very lucky that none of them came to grief there in that brief battle. We've just got Manuel Santino off from last place. He's had a little bit of a moment, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm. I've just gone further back down. Cam Rutledge up into 13th place currently. You said he couldn't get a handle on this car, but he's doing all right so far.
Yeah, the worry is, though, that with the balance performance changes, we've heard that the Sierra chews through its tyres quite aggressively. So we might, it might be good for an early run, but it might actually fall away a bit harder over the later part of the stint, as we got Glenn Miles, who spun around through turn 1 and 2. And in fact, he's going to get cleaned up by the leader in a second. You can just see Glenn Miles, if you go down to 23rd position.
Yeah, there he is.
The black shape of the Mercedes in the background.
Mercedes.
There he is.
There is. The blue flags now being shown to Milesy. So, there we go. 8 laps and he's already have lap traffic to deal with.
I said before 10 laps are out.
Yep, and there he goes. So this is
a ridiculous performance so far from Devonish. This is actually just crazy.
Scrolling up through the field. Ooh, looks like we have the Saudi Camel in a bit of a battle. I'm going to go back up to that quickly. Whoa! As I get distracted by Cam Rutledge getting sideswiped by Turmo as they come out of turn 2. And he's going to lose the pace for Matt Cecil as well, is he? Cecil gets it down the inside and gets that move done for 14th place.
Well done. It was actually Wayne Spencer and Matt Cecil who made the moves there. Termo is a bit further up. And actually, I'm going to bring us back to the battle for 4th place because Bolger and Brock Harvey are terrorizing the rear of Nolan's HSV as they go down the back straight. By the looks of it, it looks like Ozrob's actually a bit closer as well. So he's made some gains over the mid part of this stint.
Mm-hmm. We haven't even pit, have we?
Not as of yet. I haven't heard any sirens or anything to indicate that.
Keep an eye.
And no one's been jumping around the order, so we haven't really seen that yet. But Bolger, I think Bolger's looking racy here. He might, in fact, get the position as that's a great run out of the final corner. But the BMW doesn't quite have the same power as the HSV, so you can see the HSV pull away.
Under brakes, so the Beamer is definitely looking better. But we did hear from Scott before the HSVs do seem to be handled the curbs quite well. And I know the Beamer's from driving into practice doesn't.
Yeah, the Beamer's a bit more highly strung, but he's very close to the rear now. And this is the section where the Beamer looks like the strongest. Little wobble there for Nolan. He's left the inside open, and Bolger rams his way through. A little bit of a touch as well, and he's going to swoop around the outside. Can Nolan defend as he dives into turn 6? There's a little bit of a touch, but the BMW prevails.
That was getting an M3 into an M2 sized hole, that one.
Well done from Bolger. That was audacious. A great spontaneous move into turn 5 there. It was just enough of a gap open. Just a little wiggle from the HSV opened up the door, and that was all the invitation he needed to go straight through.
While we're looking at that battle sort of resolve, Mr. Diamond had just posted a question in chat about the numbers on the side of the door, whether that's how it used to be. Pretty much, yes. The numbers used to be on the door like that, and I wish they'd do it again.
I agree. The door side numbers looks very, very nice. We've got a great example of the door side numbers in 9th and 8th place between Lime Mitch and Matt Swass. That position's just changed. Lime Mitch around the outside at turn 10 there in the lime green Nissan.
Whoa!
Up, and he's gotten very sideways. A bit of a wiggle there. Oh, no, he's gone around. He's gone around completely. And he's been cleaned up by Swass as well.
Oh, that's an absolute disaster for Mitch. Is that that was going to get him to up 18 places from the start of the race. Now he's shipped 4, and he's going to lose to Cam Rutledge as well, coming back out in 15th.
And it's been the story of the two people who started at the back. Great recovery drives, and then a bit of a mess in the middle. So Mitch down to 15th, and it was Wayne Spencer who's back up to 12th. He's actually on the tail of Kerrison and Coulston, coming through turn 5 now.
Yep,
this is a little battle pack that's about to form.
Just had that on the helicopter shot, coming through 6. I'm getting disoriented here. That's 7 now.
I think this is 7.
Yeah,
and they dive. Yeah, they dive very nicely here. Oh, a little bit of a Morse code on the back there. And that's actually put Wayne out of the groove. And Cecil's very interested in what's going on here. But unfortunately, he's run a little wide, but it's all holding stations at the end. And in fact, Matt Swass has dropped significantly back from that battle he was having earlier to now head up this group. So it's a 5-car battle pack for the tail end of the top 10.
Yeah, both Volvos, the HSV. This is a juicy pack. Now's about now, if you're thinking of a 2-stop strategy, get yourself out of this pack.
Yeah, definitely. And in fact, we do have a pit caller. It is Brock Harvey, and Scott Murrell has dived out of that. Oh, no, Coulston's hit Matt Swass and sent him around.
Ooh,
oh, no.
That's
actually checked up the rest of the group. So now Wayne's got a huge run on the BMW, and he's going to pass 3 cars in a single straight. He's gone past Kerrison, Coulston, and Swass. He's been gifted that. So he's gone up to 7th.
And Coulston's found himself behind them all again.
What a development there. Swass has rejoined in 12th. I think Coulston might even be trying to redress the whole way back. Brock Harvey has exited the pits. He's the first of our pit callers. He's down in 19th position. Scott Murrell also came through the pits there as well.
Yep, so keep an eye on pit callers here. You'd think 30 minutes is a long way to go from here. So you think those
for a single stop, yes.
Yeah, so you think those guys would be 2-stopping it?
Oh, 100%. I don't think we'll see any single stoppers come in until at least beyond the halfway point.
Yeah, no. Prove to yourself you can do it first, and then...
Exactly.
Yeah. I just want to go back to Will Devonish. Just because 21 seconds.
It's unbelievable. We just had Scott Nolan in the pit as well. I'll keep people updated on that. 21 seconds. It's incredible the amount of speed that Will has underneath him in that Mercedes at the moment.
Yes. Going back to this battle for, well, it's really now between 8th, 9th and 10th. Waz's sort of stretched the elastic out a bit. Hasn't broken it yet. But Adam Carrison, Matty Cecil and Mikey the Saudi Camel has gone off to the infield.
All right, he's going to head out, I guess.
Yeah.
I think he just got a wheel over the exit curve, and that was enough to send him around.
Yep, he's going to come out just ahead of Turmo.
And we've got Cracker in the pits as well. So Nolan and Cracker, actually this would be interesting. Brock Harvey's just coming through the final corner. He got held up a little bit by Rhodey, who's in the Sierra down the main straight. So he's got the power behind him. Whereabouts is Scott Nolan? Scott Nolan's already out of the pits by a long way. He's down in turn 3. So that's a massive gain for Nolan there.
As Brock Harvey now tries to get round the Sierra of Rhodey and gets the job done up into 17th place. Further up the grid now, so Scotty Nolan's got some clear air in front of him as well, so that's going to be the best chance of him getting ahead of his teammates.
He's timed that to perfection, hasn't he?
He has absolutely done that as about as well as he can. Going further up to 13th, the Turmo Saudi Camel will be engaged in battle again, as we see Coulson down the inside out of that slow of the third of the hairpins. Now it's a drag race down to turn 10. And Turmo's got the guts this time around. And holds that position.
And yeah, well done from Turmo. I think that... I was about to say I think we have another pit call. That was just Lion Mitch running using the full...
We do have two pit callers though. John McDonald and Matty Swass. Caught them on street.
They were engaged in a very willing battle as well just before the pits. So they've come in together. We'll see how that goes. Oh, there's been a mistake up front. Bolger is entirely engaged with Rasmussen and Hobson. What's happened here?
Wow. Can you
They got into the back of Cracker, both of them, and now Bolge has the inside line down into turn 10 on Damian Rasmussen. Gets that move cleaned up. Can he wrap up Hobson as well? What a weird mix up there.
Let me see if I back and replay what they just got in lap traffic.
I'm scrolling back to see if I can find it. Oh no, Rasmussen lost it all on his own.
Ooh.
He lost it around turn 7, and then as he came back onto the circuit, he balked Hobson. So it was a bit of a mixed bag there, and Rasmussen's come straight into the pits as well.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. So that might be longer if he doesn't remember to not fix damage.
I don't think he actually spun it and hit the wall, as we see Turmo taking the Richie Stanaway line through turn 6. Oh, and Cam Rutledge has actually also had a moment just ahead of our leader through turn 5.
Scotty Nolan's also had a moment.
Oh, it's all happening here.
Scotty Nolan's actually going very slowly.
I wonder if he's got a problem. It doesn't look good for Nolan. He's completely conked out, it looks like.
No, I don't know what's going on here. He's got underway again.
Yeah, what a weird one. We might have to ask him about that later on if we get a chance.
Yeah, was he reducing? Maybe he just had to fix something up off the floor.
And there's a yellow flag in the final of the hairpins. That's because Cam Rutledge has gone around again. He's gone around 4 times in the last 30 seconds.
Jesus.
But I've got eyes on this battle between Brenton Hobson and Steve Bolger, which is now coming through lap traffic. They're almost nose to tail heading into the final sector as we've got 28 minutes on the clock.
And a 32-second lead for Will Devonish. So yes, Higo, we are mentioning it. Devonish can make a 3-stopper work if he wanted.
He could. He certainly, it would certainly spice things up. It would certainly give us a bit more interest at the head of the field, but he's acting like it's an F1 race and just blitzing away from everyone at the minute.
It's hammer time, not Devo time.
It's absolutely Devo time.
He's devastating the rest of the field. Hobson in 2nd place. Bolger in 3rd. 5 seconds back to Oz Robin 4th currently. So that make the first of our pit callers would be Scotty Nolan.
It's actually Brock Harvey.
It is Brock Harvey now, yes. Of course, 10
Actually,
seconds.
no, it's Damien Rasmussen who's coming in again. That's weird. Rasmussen did only come in the lap prior.
Huh, that's very strange. We have to check out what on earth is doing there. As Hobbo and Bowles just round John McDonald. So that's 18th place being backed by those two.
Oh, a little bit of a dive from Bulge, and Hobson gets a little crossed up. Should we maybe go on board to Steve Bolger and see how it looks from his perspective?
Let's see if I can push the right button. Yes, I can. I've got hood cam going. Just coming through turn 10. Got a decent run here, but I don't think the HSV is pretty wide. They almost make contact. Won't get it done this time around.
The HSV does have the ponies at the top of the gear range, so the BMW can't really keep up as they go through the long straight. So he's going to lose a bit more time here. But a very enthralling view, as I think we have a few pit callers coming out. I think that just ahead, that is Cam Rutledge in the distance, so they'll probably get onto the back of him as they go through turn 1 and 2. A little bit of curb from the Bulge and a little slide from Hobbo. His rear tyres must be on the very edge of adhesion as they come through turn 3, and Cam Rutledge is off the track ahead of them.
Cam runs off the track again ahead of them.
Now this is the cool part of the circuit, turn 5. A nice open corner there. Bulge gets a little bit of oversteer, but controls it well. Gains a lot on that HSV as we come through the kink at 6. Uses the curb, and he's shaping up for a dive. Not quite.
The Beamer is really nice through that section, I've got to say.
It feels really stable, exactly. And through these slower corners, it does look like Bulger can gain a little bit more on the HSV. Wide entry line there from Bulger, looking maybe to swoop on the exit. A little bit of oversteer there, which probably put paid to what he was trying to do. But he's certainly not letting Hobbo get away from anything here.
Coming through turn 10 again. Now, it's all about traction here. Oh, Hobbo gets very sideways. How'd that nicely.
All about traction, yeah, certainly. And that was not traction for Hobbo, but he managed to actually pull out a little bit down the straight. Now, 25 minutes on the clock, and Hobbo dives in.
So that'll be Hobbo trying to make a one-stop work, no doubt.
Oh no, Osrob almost tipped it over in 4th place. He went around the last corner and almost tipped it. Oh. How did he save that?
All right, let's bring that up on replay because that sounds like amazing viewing. So he's just coming into the second to last corner. Oh! I don't know if that's as much as about game physics as much as anything.
Oh, that was brilliant. That was beautiful. Poetry in motion there from Osrob. He's now up into 3rd as we are in the midst of the pit sequence. Oh, Lime Mitch has gone around the penultimate corner. That's a big lose. That's a huge lose from Lime Mitch.
He just nearly got cleaned up by one of the Volvos as well. I'm not sure which one that was.
You know what? Yeah. He has 0 tyres. He has absolutely 0 tyres. I would put money on his tyres being at 0% because there he goes again.
Oh, that was under brakes. Yeah.
No,
I'm looking at his replay.
Yeah, it's trying times for the Skylines as Matt Cecil was in the pits.
He lost it on the way into pit lane.
Yeah, well, not the first time around. The second time around those tyres must be absolutely bald. No tread on them at all. Just an update on some of our early pit callers. Brock Harvey is back up to 6th place. He's behind Brenton Hobson, who's come out in 5th. The gap between them is just on about 5 seconds. And then we have Kerrison, Osrob, Bolger, and Will Devenish in the pit. So these are those who are trying to make a one-stop work at the moment. The first of our 2-stoppers is probably going to be Brock Harvey, of course. So he's in the midst of a 2-stop strategy. I'm trying to figure out when Wayne Spencer pit, because he's looking in a decent position now if he's come through the pits, because he's in 10th place.
Yeah. Hobbo's come out in 5th place, just trying to send it down the inside of Adam Kerrison. He gets that move done nicely into turn 12. And Kerrison actually makes the way into the pits, so that's why I didn't fight too hard for that one. Osrob, Bolger in. So almost everybody has made at least one stop now.
Kerrison in as well, so he's making his stop. Bolger comes out just behind Hobson, so yeah, they're ready to resume their battle, and he actually drops in between Hobson and Harvey, so nice job for Bolge at the moment. as we have a yellow flag in turn 9, the exit of turn 9, trying to find out who that was for. And it might have been Cracker.
Yep.
In fact, it wasn't. It was John McDonald, the other blue and white car.
Okay. So I think with 22 minutes on the clock, with everyone stopping, now's a good time as Devonish comes around the final corner to go across the line. We should maybe run through the whole field. What do you feel about that?
I feel very good about that.
All right. So there's Devonish just. Oh, where's my camera done? My camera's looking at the sky. There we go. Devonish is coming down turn 1 now. Whoop. 36 seconds ahead of second place Winton Hobson.
So we saw there, I think that was Damien Rasmussen, Glenn Miles and John McDonald going side by side on the entry to turn 1. There's Lime Mitch next and Cracker. Cam Rutledge is in that Sierra, and then it will be Rhodey. Oh, no, that's Rhodey Camel, Mike Coulston in the BMW. Then that is one of the Ecurie Brunswick Volvos. That's Termo. He's down in 18th. So it was Matt Swass. There's Rhodey coming out of the pits, and that is Brenton Hobson just there. So that is the gap on track. There is Steve Bolger and Brock Harvey. And then it is Hans and Ozrob. Ozrob's just come through the pits. That's 7th and 8th place. 9th is Scotty Nolan. And then there's a little bit of a gap on track before that is Scotty Murrell
in 8th place?
10th place, I think that is.
8th place.
Oh, 8th place. Okay,
Yep.
I must have got my numbers mixed up somewhere.
Yep.
Manuel Santino in the Wildcat Sierra in 23rd, I think. He's still at the tail of the field, 22nd or 23rd. Then there is Wayne Spencer in 9th. And that is our race leader in the Mercedes there.
That's a lot of people a lap down.
Yeah, and then just behind him is Cracker, and then Kerrison, Matty Cecil, and I think that was John McDonald having a look on the inside there. Oh, it wasn't John McDonald, it was Damien Rasmussen who gets the move done on Cecil. So Rasmussen is a lap down on the leader, and that was after a very strong qualifying and early run in the race.
That's pretty crazy. Okay, so scrolling up through the field, as I just see a Volvo blink on my screen. There's no real battles on on track anymore, is there? They're all sort of spread out.
I think the Rasmussen Cecil Kerrison battle is probably the closest one on track at the moment. Rasmussen is looking energized to try and get past the Volvo for 11th place.
Both these guys are one stopping.
I think Rasmussen is 2 stopping. I'm not sure about Kerrison, as he runs a little wide in the mid corner, and that it allows Rasmussen up the inside, but the wrong side of the road for the next corner for turn 10, and Kerrison does hold on to that position. Actually, I'm going to bring us back up to the front, because the battle for 3rd and 4th, it looked a lot closer on the timing screen, but it looks like they're almost evenly spaced, Hobbo, Bolger and Brock Harvey for 2nd, 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, definitely be 1.5 seconds each back. Ozrob, yeah. Oh, as you just see, Scotty Murrell off track on the infield of 6 and 7. So I think he just outbraked himself.
He looks a little wary on those tyres. Looks like they're not... Well, I think throughout the field, everyone's struggling a little bit with their tyre wear. So it's not surprising to see people oversteer a little bit around certain corners and get the tail wagging or look like they might be struggling. Devonish is about to put another personal lap down. This time it's Wayne Spencer, who is currently sitting in 9th place. That's gone a lap down.
Yep,
9th place.
That's just domination so far.
It's a little terrifying as we've got just under 20 minutes left.
I mean, he must love this place.
Someone has to.
Hans Brunswick's just coming in for a stop now.
So that will be the first of the 2 stoppers coming in. About 17 minutes, just under 18 minutes left. Oh, Glenn, he's just in the middle of the track. Got eyes on Glenn Miles. He's in just ahead of Damien Rasmussen and Mike Coulston. He's really backed Rasmussen in there. Unfortunate for the Synergy Sim Racing driver, and Coulston had a look but couldn't quite get it done at turn 10. In fact, I think Rasmussen's lost a few positions. Maybe he's coming for a second pit stop as well.
He's down to 15th now, yeah. As we see, who's that ahead of him just going well off track into the pit lane? I think that was... Who was that? I think... Was Walshy here? Yes, it was. I think it was Walshy.
Okie dokie. So, battle for second is on again, and Hobbo ran a little wide around the final corner, and now that BMW is looking very big in that rearview mirror as they head down towards turn 1. Bolger goes to the inside to have a look, and is he going to be braver under brakes? Not quite an opportunity to pass there as they go over the curbs. Looks like Bolger actually even lost a little bit as he backed out of making that move, but certainly was looking for it as they come through the top end of the circuit, turns 3 and 4.
We're going to jump on board with Bolger again and see if we can figure out where the BMW's best chance of overtaking is. We do know he's better on the inside, on the... he's got to...
Oh, he goes full send up the inside of turn 7. Runs the curb. Can he get the power down on the exit? Not quite. Doesn't get the move made, but... Oh, that was very opportune for us to go on board there with Bolger.
I knew that he said he was... I knew the BMWs were going to be strong. They didn't expect him to demonstrate it quite like that.
So I think that's his best bet, though. I think he seems to have a little more through the faster corner than Hobson, and here at turn 10, if he can get the exit of turn 10 nice, and they're coming up to some traffic now, which could play into his hands as they come through the final corner. He has a look on the inside this time around, not quite there just yet, but he's got the inside run this time. Can he get through on the final corner? They make a little bit of contact, and Hobbo did a little bit dirty there. He actually ran Bolger all the way up the curve as Brock Harvey pits behind them, so he's dropped out of 4th position. Now, can Hobbo make the move on the Sierra? Yes, he can. Now, what's going to happen to Bolger here? And we're on board, and we see that Rutledge has really held up the BMW, and that's grown the gap between Bolger and Hobbo for that second place.
I'm now looking from the back of Brenton Hobson. We'll see if we can see a looming BMW for this time around. That pick-off of Cam Rutledge, though, has been vital to Hobbo's chances of maintaining second.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with a little bit of a slide in the mid-corner there. If he had that the last lap around, it would have been a much different story. So lucky for Hobson there, but there doesn't seem to be that much on track ahead of them. They got quite a bit of space before. I think that's... who was that ahead? It looked like Scott Murrell and Hans Brunswick ahead of them. Oh, actually, no, there's a few other drivers. Oh, hang on. I've just found Rhodey off in the paddock somewhere.
Okay, what's Rhodey done?
19th.
Well, you find that out because I'm going to look at the BMW, try send it down to the second to last corner. Nope, not this time on Hobbo.
Rhodey done. He's hit a glitch and floated off the first hairpin. What a weird... Yeah.
I can't get on the replay, but I'll trust you there.
It was a weird little glitch that Rhodey encountered.
Yellow flag at turn 2. Brian Walsh just hit the outside door and has collected the County Camel as well.
Oh, unfortunate there. And he's parked right on corner exit. And he gets away now, but that's not ideal for the rest of the field. We've had Morrill come through the pits again for his second stop, as has Scott Nolan. And it looks like Coulston's actually quit out. Unfortunately, he's DNF from the race. So very unlucky for the Saudi Camel on his return to TCAC to be involved in an accident with a lapped car. We've got Cracker coming through the pits for his second stop. Okay. But the battle for second rages on.
Here we go again.
And it looks much closer this time around. In fact, Hobbo has to go defensive into turn 10 and runs gets very nice exit actually. And a very smooth exit from Hobbo. So he's looking a bit more comfortable this time. But we have lap traffic ahead. That is Glenn Miles in the Skyline, who's done a very good job to let Hobbo through. Not quite nice for Bolger though, unfortunately. So a little bit of time lost again, and the elastic stretches once more.
I don't think that was Glenn Miles' fault though. It was just in a bad spot.
Yeah, it's one of those situations of like the lap car can't disappear. So unfortunate for Bulge there, but that is the ebb and flow of traffic.
Blue flags are under invisible ray.
Yeah, notice that Hobbo used a lot more curb through turns 1 and 2 compared to the BMW, as he runs a little wide at turn 4 as well.
Ooh.
But gets a great run through that at turn 4. Now, can he hold it up through turn 5? A little smoother this time, but Bulge is really putting the pressure on. Oh, a little oversteer moment in the mid-corner there meant that he couldn't get the move done, but we're still riding along with this battle, and it feels like a matter of when, not if, but we know from the other seasons of TCAC how good Hobbo is defensively and how much. Oh, but he's made a hash of it there. He's gotten a very slow run out of the corner. He's got the inside line though, but Bolger had a big run. They're going to go side by side in the braking zone for 10.
And
can he get the over-under?
Oh, he's looking good on track. Good traction from the BMW on exit. Maybe around the outside. Hobbo just creeps over. Makes the HSV as wide as possible.
Oh, so close between the pair of them through the penultimate corner. I was sure that they were going to make contact there, but they both live to fight another day as they come across the line to start lap 27. We've got 11 minutes left of this. Can Hobbo hold on for the full length?
We know Hobbo can defend. He's having to defend with all his might at the moment as we go through turn 1. A lot of curb again from Hobbo. He must be feeling more comfortable with those springs on his HSV.
Yeah, definitely. And again, Bolger lights up the rears between turns 3 and 4, but he looks a lot closer this time, but got a very poor exit out of turn 4. But he's stalking. You can hear the Jaws theme in the background every single time Bolger goes through this the trio of hairpins.
Speaking of which, we're coming into now, so we'll see how close Bolger can get. It's going to be all on traction on the exit of this, so see if he can send it down turn 10 this time around.
I've just been riding on board with Bolger, and I've noticed that he's had a little bit more problem getting the traction down this time. It's as if he's beginning to lose the rear tire, so I wonder if he's using up a bit too much of the rears, but he's in the rears of Hobson this time around. Is he going to be brave enough to send it up the inside? Not quite. He's not quite got this right exit. It's almost a matter of getting too close sometimes to the rear of the car ahead of him.
And if he's used up the goodness in those tyres, maybe he won't have anything to fight left with as we come down to 9 minutes 45 left with another 5, 6, 7 laps roughly.
Yeah, 7 laps.
So chances are running out.
35 laps was what was quoted in the practice session as the expected race distance. Both of them this time using a bit more curb. But Hobbo seems to have turns 1 and 2 pretty well nailed. They're coming up to a bit more traffic. I think that is the Matt Swass Volvo ahead of them. But Bolger's very, very close this time. If he can keep it together, he's almost on the bumper. He's sizing up the move into turn 6 this time. There they go through the kink. And he thought about it. And there's a little love tap there from the Bulgemobile, the BMW, just letting him know that he's still there. And Hobbo gets the rears sliding, and there's a little bit of a chance. But there's yellow flags in this section as well, so he can't make the move. And it's one of the Synergy Sim racing cars as well. It's Rasmussen, and he's almost cleaned up Matt Swass there. Lucky that they didn't make contact as Rasmussen returned to the circuit.
I don't know what Rasmussen was doing. He sort of just cut across the whole track in front of everybody.
I think he was trying to make sure he stayed out of the way of Hobson and Bolger, because if he'd held Hobson up, that would have been a very unhappy team briefing afterwards.
It was almost a disaster, though. He almost took out all 3 cars.
Yeah, might say that he got a little lucky there.
Anyway, cross the line this time around. Gap hasn't Hobbo's put out a slight lead. A slight advantage this time around. Because we know Devonish with a 56-second lead.
It's 59 seconds now. That's incredible from Devonish. He might lap the field. There's 7.5 minutes, or more than 7.5 minutes left. He could legitimately lap the field. That
might be a little optimistic, but this is... We'll talk about him later because holy crap. But this battle was on again. The Beamer coming through the fast...
Send.
He's sending. Oh.
Oh, but Hobo's gone wide, and that's over the door, and Bolger's through. Bolger's got through, finally. It took 4 or 5 laps, and finally Hobson relinquishes that second position. Now, can Bolger hold on to that? Can he stretch the gap away and take that second position and claim it as his own? It looks like he has. The elastic's already broken. Oh, wow. What a moment.
I reckon Hobo's tyres might be a bit of strife.
Yeah, well, comparing him to his Synergy Sim Racing teammates, they all committed to a 2-stop strategy, which Nolan is in 6th at the moment, and Rasmussen, we saw have a bit of an incident early on. So they both committed to the 2-stop, whereas Hobson's gone for the 1-stop. So maybe he's at the very limits of his tyre, because that gap is already over a second between the pair of them now.
Osrob might be on for a podium here.
It could do. Osrob was also a single stopper, I believe. So let's hope that he's kept his tyres in order, because we saw Lime Mitch also in the Nissan struggle on his tyres at the end of his first stint.
Brock Harvey's down in 5th place. He's the first of the 2 stoppers. As we see a yellow flag for Cam Rutledge pointing the wrong way at the final corner. He's got going again. Looks like there's outside of top 10, Matty Cecil, Adam Kerrison might be engaged in a bit of yeah, they are side by side coming through turn 9. Oh, Matty Cecil's very sideways on exit. And Kerrison's actually got the move done as a result. But he's outbraked himself. He's outbraked himself by a long way, and it's given the Norton Hornet the position back.
And just lurking in the background there is Hans Brunswick as well. So Brunswick is going to be energized by this battle ahead of him, and he might even buy into it as well. A little bit of Morse code on the rear as the 2 Volvos come together.
I think the Hans Brunswick fan club's gone to bed now.
Oh, sorry. It's unfortunate for Kirsten.
Yes. Coming through with 5.5 to go for these guys. Or for the whole field, really. Now, these Volvos are very delicate on the curves. That's what I have learned. As we see Kerrison have a wee peek down the inside of the Norton and gets the job done on Matty Cecil as well.
Done. That was a great move from Kerrison there. Really boxed
it out. And there's Hans.
Even allowed Hans through. Now, Hans is going to be on the outside of the sweeper here, but if he holds it out there, he's going to be inside for the kink. There's a little bit of room between the 2 of them.
Well held, Matty Cecil.
Lucky to keep it on the island was Matt Cecil there.
That was lucky. So that's resolved that battle in the Volvo's favour for now. That gap out the front between is that Glenn Walsh?
Brian Walsh.
Brian Walsh, yes. Glenn Walsh. Walshy.
Glenn Walsh.
Brian
Miles.
Getting my guys confused. That gap between Hobson and Osrob seems to have stabilised at 6 seconds now.
Oh, we've got a Synergy Sim Racing car spun around at turn 9. I have a feeling that is, in fact, Damien Rasmussen, so that's much less exciting than I thought it was going to be.
I stopped scrolling through the field. Cam Rutledge is in for another stop. His tyres were absolutely dead.
Cooked like eggs.
Yeah. That's going to happen in the beautiful rural Victorian winters.
Oh, no, none of those words made me excited.
As we see...
Hans has gone around. Hans has gone around the exit of turn 2 from 10th place, now 11th. He's gone around. He got 2 wheels sideways on the exit of turn 2 and was very lucky not to clean up the rear of Adam Kerrison.
I was just about to go to that battle to say this battle was on between the 2 Volvos, and he's gone and done that.
And he might even lose 12th position to his teammate. That's Matt Swass just wrapping around him now.
Yeah. I think
unfortunate for Brunswick. Good thing his fan club isn't here.
Exactly. This battle between Osrob and Hobo is down to 5 seconds. I don't know if there's enough time left for Osrob to get up there.
Yeah, well, compared to how much Hobson's losing to Steve Bolger ahead of him, that gap now is 3 seconds. So Hobo, he's not clinging on to the back of Bolger, but he's certainly not allowing Bolger to run deep into the distance. I think he's settled for 3rd and is quite content with that position at the minute. So a lot of the top 10 is really sort of spread out at the moment. Shall we do one last round off of the field before we get onto the last lap?
Why not? Let's see where this camera coming out of the third hairpin puts us on Will Devonish. Yep, there we go. Will Devonish has just gone out of the slow hairpin. And there goes the Synergy Sim Racing machine
of Damien Rasmussen. That's 2 laps down for Rasmussen. He's in, I think, 18th.
Yep, there we just...
then that
so Turmo, John McDonald, then Miles just fly through. And there's Brocky in 5th place. A lap down in 5th place. That's madness.
That is a little bit of madness indeed. Scott Morrill in behind him. He's in 17th.
There's
so
Hobson.
Yep. And there's a lot of space behind him, as you can see. I think I've got one camera around from where you are. Okay. So that looks like that's Glenn. Sorry, that's Wayne Spencer. There, it looks like. Wayne Spencer.
Do you want a lap, guys?
What was that? Sorry.
Do you want a lap?
Why not?
Okay, let's get on board with Brock.
Let's get on board with Brock. Where's Brock at the moment? 5th place. On board with Brock, and take it away, sir.
We're into the first chicane, second gear through there. We'll come up into 90-degree right-hander, brake at 50, second gear, try and hit the curb. Grab third, slam it into first, hit that curb, get on the power early. Wind it up into third, just back off and let it roll, let it drop into second. You have to kind of feather the throttle through here, short shift into third, short shift into fourth. Hit the brakes hard for the hairbraking. We want to hit the first gear, and we missed the apex by a country mile. Second gear, some guys are getting in the third, as Glenn is way sideways in front of me there.
Glenn.
Last hairpin, first gear, and you just wait forever for it to finish, because it's about 7 apexes. Get on the power. Third gear, we should just get in the fourth. Second, and then first, and then get on the power early again. The car wants to push out there rather than get sideways. Everyone else wants to get sideways. There wants to understeer. Fourth gear, 100, brake. Second, first, get the nose in. Again, it wants to understeer a little bit. Hold second, lift a little bit, get on the power, and we're on the front straight.
Just.
There you go. There's a lap.
Thank you very much, Brock.
Thanks, mate.
We have just on 10 seconds left before time expires, so this is the penultimate lap. We haven't really seen much of him on the broadcast because he has been so far ahead, but we really should spend this last minute or so talking about Will Devonish. What an unbelievable performance tonight. He has lapped the entire field up to 5th. So the only people not a lap down at the moment are 4th place Ozrob, 3rd place Brenton Hobson, and 2nd place Steve Bolger. He's just coming through to turn 10 with Cracker, Cam Rutledge, and Hans Brunswick, which is actually a battle for position just as an aside, ahead of him. So he's going to put them 2 laps down, and then possibly Cam Rutledge 3 laps down.
This has been an unbelievable effort from Will Devonish. This is a competitive field, and he's absolutely brained them today.
There's literally no competition for him today, as he's going to try and split the middle. No, he wisely backs out of it as he starts the final lap of tonight's round 3 of the ATCC series. Remember, that's a battle for position as well between Cracker and Hans. That's actually not Hans, sorry, that's Matt Swass. Apologies, Matt.
He's got on the inside of Swassy. Now, this is going to be crucial because if he doesn't get Cracker, then that's resolved that battle. I think even so, he's forced that Volvo a long way back. So that's unfortunate for the Volvo. But yeah, Will Devonish, lights out, away we go, and he's just away he went.
Away he's gone. He's just disappeared into the distance. It's been an absolutely flawless performance from him tonight, and yeah, honestly,
whoa! Don't throw it away now, though, mate. Come on.
It would be hilarious if he busted his engine in this battle with the back marker.
Coming to turn 10 now. Cracker's not gonna make that any harder than he needs to.
But in all honesty, though, first place, led every lap, pole position, and the fastest lap. I checked his laps time. He even got into the 104s in that Mercedes. An unbelievable performance from Will as he drifts it up around the final corner, and he will take round 3 of the Automobilista Australian Touring Car Championships. Congratulations Will Devonish. Next across the line is Cracker and
Ooh.
Matt Swass.
While you
and
talking
then
about
Brian
that,
Walsh.
while you talking about that, we have Cam Rutledge, who looks like he's run out of fuel. He's being pushed by Rhodey.
Sierra's looking out for each other there.
Indeed. So it's going to be a long wait to see the Gravel Rash Racing Machine come across the line in a second. Great result for Steve Bolger.
Yeah, a decent performance, especially after what happened at the very end of the last race.
Yep. I'm going back to Brenton Hobson and Osrob. The gap is down to a second.
Oh, okay. We'll keep our eyes on this one as they come through. This is context, right? They're still at turn 9. They're still going through the last of the hairpins.
Yeah.
Is Hobbo and Osrob. I think Hobbo might have timed this to perfection, though. I don't quite think Osrob, unless Hobbo's tyres completely fall off the cliff, is going to be able to get it done. The gap is just on a second.
Yeah, and there you go. I think that was the last chance that Hobbo had to get it really wrong. And I think he's going to hold on to the final place on the podium. Which, for Hobbo, is actually not going to hurt him in the championship too much because his championship rivals are behind him.
Yeah, exactly. Scott Nolan especially. Bolger comes across the line to finish third. Second. Hobbo in third. And Osrob in fourth place. And then the next car is Brock Harvey, already a lap down.
Yeah, there's only one car left to finish, and there goes Hans just finishing now. So
wow.
Fifth place, Brock Harvey. Sixth place will be Scotty Nolan, and that's Energy Sim Racing Machine. Seventh place, Wayne Spencer. Eighth will be Line Mitch. Great result from back of the field. Well done, Line.
Both of them, actually. Wayne and Line Mitch, both gaining 13... No, more than that. Jeez.
15...
What? 18 positions.
Yeah. Math.
Quick maths, lads.
Adam Carrison in ninth, and Matty Cecil in 10th place.
We just have Rhodey and Termo coming across the line. That is actually fourth position because Rhodey was pushing Cracker around. Oh, sorry, Cam Rutledge around. So Matt Cecil 10th, Hans Brunswick 11th, Cracker 12th in the end. Matt Swass in 13th, John McDonald 14th, Termo, Rhodey, Scott Murrell, and the server has closed, so we don't get the rest of the grid.
Wow, that was an interesting race.
That was, in fact, a race.
It was a race. Wow. That performance from Will Devonish, and I believe he's in chat. No, he's not yet. But he,
we should bring him in.
We should bring him because he's got to explain himself after that. That was a thing.
Will, explain yourself. Which AI did you use to set up your car and run tonight? Because honestly, I have not seen that dominant a performance in any of the racing I've ever seen in Automobilista Australia. That was ridiculous. You lapped 24 cars. No, not 24 cars. 22 cars.
It's really pissed I couldn't get the whole field.
You got close. You got close. I think you were only about 10 or 15 seconds away from grabbing fourth place. But honestly, it was an utterly dominant performance from you tonight. Pole position by over a second, led every lap, 104 fastest lap. Just incredible performance. That must feel very nice after the hardship last round out.
Yeah, it's I knew this car was going to be good on twisty tracks, and I knew the first two rounds were not twisty tracks, so I just needed to keep my head clean the first two rounds, and now I think the Merc's going to come into its own. So yeah, it's I'm hoping it's things to come for that for the Merc.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's anything like that, if you're able to put those performances in every single week, that's going to catapult you up the standings. I don't really know what to say. Did you have an interesting race? Do you have a boring race? You were just so far ahead of everyone.
I was telling the guys I was really focusing on getting a 124, so I got that in the second stint. But yeah, once I was a couple of seconds ahead, I just wanted to get every lap within a second of each other, and I got pretty close to that. So that's how I had fun tonight.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, we unfortunately didn't get too much camera time either because there wasn't really too much interest in watching you set hot laps. But it was an astonishing performance. I think that will go down in TCAC folklore as one of the most dominant performances anyone has ever seen. So congratulations on that tonight, Will Devonish.
Thank you.
Second place tonight was Steve Bolger. Steve, a good night for you in the BMW. Take us through your race tonight.
Hey, Floody. Yeah, it was very good after the last 2 rounds, which have been shockers. But look, I knew the guys were going to probably stick it up the inside at a few places at the start of the race, and I started a bit slow. But once the tyres warmed up, definitely had pace and the entire life in the Beamer. So it was just kind of a matter of trying to slowly get places back, and then really good little battle with Hobbo there for quite a while. But yeah, I knew his tyres were going to go off at the end of the stint, so I was trying to be patient and make it clean. That was good fun.
Yeah, you did very well passing the Synergy Sim Racing HSVs. Not only did we track that battle between you and Hobson for many laps, and I must say you were looking terrorizing through those hairpins, but your move on Scott Nolan through the sweeper at turn 5, that was one of the most terrifying moves I've seen, and you managed to pull it off. So yeah, what was your thought process going through that? Because it looked utterly spontaneous.
He just went half a car length wider than he probably the line, and I had the grip, so I just thought I'm taking it, and just tried to leave enough space so he, no one binned it. But yeah, that was a good pass. I liked that one.
Yeah, we liked it in the commentary booth as well. Just to take us through now your thoughts on the series so far. We've had 2 very straight sort of shoot races where the Sierra has been very powerful. Now the more nimble cars, the BMWs and the Mercedes, have come on strong here tonight. How do you feel the balance is across the field? Do you feel like everyone's had a chance so far?
Yeah, I think it's going to be very track dependent. So obviously the tight and twisty ones are going to suit us. The first 2 definitely weren't there for the Beamer. I was pretty happy with my pace at Calder, but had a bit of an incident. But yeah, I'm not sure how Bathurst will go with straights there, but fuel usage showed up tonight, or tyre usage more so, and fuel showed up tonight as a bit of a differentiator as well. So in the longer races there, it could be interesting. Barbagallo could be pretty well balanced, I think. The different places on the track, it'll be a good strength for different cars. So I'm very interested to see the next round.
Awesome. Congratulations on your battling tonight, and congratulations on second place, Steve Bolger.
Yeah, mate.
And third tonight was Brenton Hobson. Brenton, a great race from you in the end. Did you have anything to fight with Bolger at the end, or were you absolutely out of gas?
No, I had nothing to fight with him from the stint. I mean, yeah, there's not a lot to say. I had to drive it at 90% the entire time to not run out of tyres. I've had in the warm-up, I did 27 minutes and blew the tyres out. So it was a 50-minute race. You can figure out the maths. So
yeah,
I had to run it as long as I could and then take tyres and then run it to the end and just do two even stints basically to even make it on tyres. The alternate strategy was to push hard and make an extra stop. But I mean, we calculated even if you took 2 tyres, you're losing 40 plus seconds, which is what Scott ended up doing in the race he kind of needed to. And you just can't make up that sort of time. But I mean, even if we could push on 100% on the tyres as hard as we could, we're over a second a lap off the pace to the Merc and the Beamer around here anyway. So I don't really know what to do. We're just going to have to keep trying to be consistent. I mean, this was the track I had circled on the calendar as the one that if we had any chance in our car, it was going to be here, because we were just getting murdered at the tracks with the long straights. This is the windy stuff, and then we just got murdered even worse. So I've fully decided that our car's rubbish and it's not going to be any good anymore. So we're just going to have to do the best we can. I mean, if the tyre wear continues to be like it is here, we're going to be screwed everywhere anyway, because we're not going to be able to go full pace anywhere that there's lots of corners. And then if we do happen to be able to run as fast as we can, there's going to be something that's quicker than us in a straight line and something that's quicker than us through the corners. So, I mean, there is no positive for us, basically. I feel like I'm driving more of a hamstrung car than I did in the Lancer with maximum weight in it. So we'll just have to do the best we can. I mean, to complain and whinge about it. The guys who did, they did a good job. I don't think Will made any mistakes, and good on him. That's a good drive. But he belted the field by a minute and 15 seconds or something. So, I mean, there's an imbalance. Has to be an imbalance in the cars at that point.
Let's just forget about Will for a second. I don't quite think you need to be that pessimistic because I think one of the advantages that your car has over the rest of the field is that it's a great all-rounder. So while you haven't had the outright pace in a straight line all through the corners, you've been able to be up the top in both styles of racing. I know it's very difficult for you to not be finishing in first place every single time, Brendan, but the battles that you had throughout the field with Bolger, that was certainly great to see. Do you like being involved in those sort of battles throughout the race, or do you prefer a clean race like what Devo had tonight?
I love the clean races where you're a minute out in front, but I mean, it is good to get in the battles. I love to get the elbows out and fight, but it's also pretty frustrating. I feel bad for Steve. He did a great job because he could have punted me off about 15 times, and he was very patient in a car that was heaps quicker, and I was being quite rude. I didn't block him. I wasn't driving a defensive line, but I made that Commodore as wide as I can. And I know from experience that I can be a bit of a wily defender when it comes to racing these things, just in general, in anything. And I made it as hard as I could possibly make it for him without being a bit over the top. So I sort of rode the line on driving overly defensive. I feel bad for him because that's how I had to drive, but he did a great job. He didn't run me over when he could have, and was patient. And like he said, just had to wait for my tires to go away, which they did. So I do enjoy it. I love the battles. I want it to just be. All I want is a nice close racing where everyone's in equal gear and we can all just fight, and instead of just being forever hamstrung, trying to just do the best we can. That's what it feels like. I'm hanging on everywhere. Well, but anyway.
I mean, you guys did choose this hell for yourself, so I don't have that much sympathy.
Really, when they change after every update.
Yeah, that too as well. So, that's on Brock. We'll blame Brock for that one. Didn't you guys get a balance up in... Anyway, we'll get into that another time. Finally, Hobbo, you mentioned that you had this one circled as a potential race-winning opportunity. Looking at the rest of the calendar, are there any other ones that you have circled? Maybe Lakeside or Hidden Valley might be good for the HSV, or even Oran Park at the end of the season?
Not really, because this was going to be the hardest track to drive on, which I think will be probably, well, for me personally, will probably be my biggest strength, because I tend to drive well and consistent. And I figured this was probably going to be the hardest track to be consistent on. So regardless of the cars, we put all that aside. This was the track that I had penciled. I like this place. Most people hate it. It's a difficult track. And I felt like I could be good here. And I honestly only made a couple of very small mistakes in the whole race. So I do feel like I drove consistently. So this was the one that I had circled anyway. As far as the rest go, it's really just going to be hanging on and hope that we can be consistent enough, I think, basically. Just got to bank points every week. But I think there's a drop round, so that'll probably hurt us in the end. But we'll do the best we can. I mean, at times the car's quick, but we're just forever
chasing something. Yeah. Unfortunate for that tonight, but you still walked away with third place. So congratulations on that one, and best of luck for next round.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks, guys.
And that was our top three, Devonish, Bolger, and Brenton Hobson. I've just been given some championship numbers from Scotty Nolan as well, who's running the championship points for us so far this season. At the moment, after tonight's results, we have Will Devonish in first place with 77 points, Scott Nolan in first place with 77 points, and Brenton Hobson in third on 76 points. So it is very, very tight at the top of the championship after 3 rounds.
That's some craziness.
Yeah, you can say that again. Let's hope the championship. If the races, if we are finding the differences in the cars too much for the races individually to be very well contested at the top, at least if the championship stays well contested throughout the entire way, that might really up the stakes as we get towards the latter end of the season, which you have up on screen now. And next week we are at Pukekohe Park, Kiwi.
I get to bust out my Maori again, do I?
Oh, you love it. I love the Maori.
Yes, so we broke quarantine by racing in Victoria tonight. We're breaking quarantine by racing in New Zealand next week.
Brilliant. Love it.
These cars around Pukekohe is going to be fantastic.
Pardon me. I have a I'll try that one again. No. Yes. Are we running the old Pukekohe Park, or are we running the modern Pukekohe Park with the chicane in? Does anyone have an idea in here? Because there's a few people in the broadcast booth at the moment.
1988, mate.
1988, fantastic. Excellent. So we're going all the way through to the hairpin next week. So that will be next week, not next fortnight. So make sure to join us on the 22nd of July.
Indeed. But for now, thank you very much for watching. It was a great race. Thank you for everyone for taking part. Thank you to Brock for putting the mod together. Netherrealmian for the beautiful graphics that we're broadcasting. Thank you. And thank you to Michael.
Tonight. You got it right.
I got it right. I know. I've been practicing all week, can't you tell?
A little bit, yeah.
And thank you, Michael, for your beautiful work as always.
No problems. Thank you very much for running the stream, Kiwi, and thank you to all of our drivers for putting on such a great show.
This is an insurance chat. Oh, God, I can't even say it. Channel name. Thanks for watching us on Endurance Chat Media. We'll see you next time. You're not going to say peace out?